What would be a small routine, a 6-step routine to do daily? So I would be interested just to try it for 20 or 30 days and just watch what happens. Maybe
Yes.
I'll become way stronger or whatever.
Perfect. I'll be happy to show you that now. Perfect. I'll be happy to show you that now. You can go along through it with me. If people are watching the video, if you're going to post this on video, you follow along with me. If you're listening to it, I'll walk through where it is, but try to watch the video so you can do it yourself. I want to preface this. This is something that looks so simple and so easy, and you're going to be saying to yourself, that's it? Like, that's all I got to do? How can this be so powerful and yet so simple? And why didn't somebody else tell me this before? So first of all, that's a good question. You should be asking them that. But two, this is what I'm talking about. Nonlinear means that you're going to make changes to these 6 spots, but it's one of the most powerful things you're going to do to the body to increase blood flow to and from tissues, change how nerves respond to tissue tightness, but clear toxins from your body. And I'm telling you this for a reason. When you start to do lymphatic work and you do the big 6, you're going to get rid of some of that crap in the toilet and toxins in the tank, and they're going to move throughout the body until they can get out through your pee, your sweat, and your poop, which means that you may go through a detoxification reaction, which means that you're probably going to feel good initially, but you might feel a little worse in relationship to tiredness, fatigue, lethargy, or pain, or a headache, or you may notice sickness-like symptoms. And I want to tell people that is normal, that better out than in. But I want you to prepare yourself not to freak out if it happens. But if it doesn't happen, don't freak out either. It's normal. Make sure you hydrate. I would prefer that you drink, usually if you can drink some water now, that's great. If not, drink some water as soon as you can after we're done, because the lymph is mostly water. Okay, everybody got that? All right. So the lymphatics work, they're fluid. And there's a law of what's called hydrodynamics. And hydrodynamics is the behavior of fluid, which means high pressure in fluid flows towards low pressure of fluid. Easiest way to think about that is a water dam where you have no water on one side and a lot of water on the other side. The water side, if you open up the gate, flows to the low side. Okay. So the lymphatics have a pressure system. Once you understand this concept, you can work lymph anywhere. The lowest pressure in the body in relationship to fluids draining, veins, and lymph is the collarbone. So the collarbone, above it and below it, is the drain point, the lowest pressure point. That's where everything wants to go. Now, when you know that, let's think, what's the furthest distances away from the collarbone? Your hands, your feet, and the top of the head. So everything from the hands and the feet and the top of the head want to go to the collarbone. So when you have lymphatic system issues and things are blocked, that's why people get a lot of swelling in the feet and the ankles, because it's the furthest distance away, it's the highest pressure, right? So knowing that, we have to always clear from low pressure towards high pressure, which means in my world, you never start in your hands and your feet, because it's the opposite end. You always start from the collarbone and go out and up. I'm going to teach you the 6 places. With the 6 places, there's many different ways that you can stimulate them. I really don't care how you stimulate them. It's just knowing that you need to stimulate them and the order that I'm showing you in. The most important thing is the order. Okay. So I like to show rubbing and tapping in circles. So what you're going to do is spot number 1 of the big 6 is above and below the collarbone. So I want you to use your hand, your fingers, the whole hand. And what I want you to do is I want you to start to lightly rub above the collarbone, on the collarbone, and below the collarbone on one side. So I'm starting on the left. We're going to do both. Right? And then I want you to start to tap. So like slap it and tap it, like you're tapping somebody on the back saying it's okay. Right? And then I want you to rub in circles. Do some circles clockwise, do some circles counterclockwise. Okay. And then people always say, how fast do you go? How deep do you go? How hard do you go? What's my answer? Yes. Just don't cause pain when you do it. Now go to the other side, collarbone. So rub above the collarbone and below the collarbone, different speeds, different depths. Then tap above the collarbone, on the collarbone, below the collarbone, and then do your circles counterclockwise, clockwise, whatever you feel comfortable with. That's spot number one. So I just cleared the spot if there's a block there. Now, all the other places are going to drain better because I just open up the big sewage pipe at the street. Does that make sense? So if I'm flushing my toilet, but the pipe is blocked at the street, doesn't matter how much I flush my toilet, it's still going to get blocked because the street is blocked. You follow? You just unclog the street. Now I'm going to go to spot number two. Spot number two is I want you to go on the side of the neck to the top of the neck, right behind the angle of the jaw, below the skull, right below the lobe of the ear where you would pierce the ear. And I want you to take your hand and I want you to start to rub up and down in that spot. And then I want you to lightly tap. This one you have to go easier on. And I want you to do your circles. Right? And then do the same on the other side. Right? So rub any direction, up and down, back and forth, wherever, lightly tap, and then do some circles. Right? That's spot number two. So now two is going to start to go down into what? One. Now I'm going to go to spot number three. Spot number three is going to be at the shoulder joint, right where your chest muscle attaches to your shoulder. And that's what's called your axilla. This is the one where women who have breast cancer usually have the lymph nodes in this region here. This gets clogged when you have swelling in the arm or the hand. I want you to take your hand and I want you to rub across where the shoulder attaches to the pectoral, right there. Right? And if you're watching, you can lift your arm up a little bit and come underneath that pec a little bit right here. Okay? And I want you to use your whole hand now and slap across that shoulder / pec region. And then I want you to do some circles, big circles with your hand. Don't be afraid to get in there. Then go to the other shoulder, rub across that pec, right, across the shoulder, and then do your tapping, and then do some circles, right? That's spot number three. So we're halfway there. Now the next spot is going to be the abdomen, right? So I may have to stand up here a little bit so if people that are watching, and I'm going to change this up. So if you need to hear me speak, can you still hear me okay through the mic?
Yeah, perfect. Sure.
Okay. All right. So I want you to place one hand flat on your belly button, one hand above that. So you're covering your whole abdomen. This is where most of your lymphatics live. I want you to just rub up and down. Right. And then I want you to tap both hands. Okay. Then what I usually like to do is, so I can put more pressure, is I like to stack my hands one on top of each other. And then I press in a little harder to the abdomen. And then I'm going to rub in circles. Right. So I'm pretty much right in the center of the abdomen, just like that. Right. And you're going to start to move all those guts around. Okay. So that's spot number 4. Now, spot number 5, because our hands are free lower, we can do both of these at the same time. I want you to find the crease of the groin. That's where when you sit down, you have that crease that you see in your pants. And when you put your hands here, you can go up and down over the crease. You can go in line with the crease. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. And then when you tap here, just be careful, you know, because it's a delicate region here. All right. And don't hit too hard. I just want you to slap over the crease of the groin, and you're going to work what's called your inguinal lymph nodes. And then put your hands over that crease and do circles, clockwise and counterclockwise. All right. And then the last one you can do standing if it's comfortable for you, and you can bend in your hips and your knees and your back comfortably, or you may sit. We're going to go behind the knee at the crease of the knee. Right. So I'm going to sit down on this one, so it's a little bit easier for me to use the mic here. All I want you to do is put your hands behind the crease of both knees, and I want you to rub above the crease and below the crease. So you're pretty much hitting a little bit on the top part of your calf, the bottom part of your hamstring, and behind the knee. And then I want you to slap and tap right behind the knees. Okay. And then do your circles, inside circles, outside circles behind the knee. Okay. And if you're able to, and you're at home or you're at a place where you can do it, I want you to just stand up again if you're seated, and I want you to keep the balls of your feet on the ground. So the balls of your feet stay on the ground, but your heels are going to come off the ground. And I want you to lightly bounce a little bit on the ground, kind of like you're doing a little mini trampoline. And I want you to shake out your hands a little bit. I want you to breathe in and out through your nose. So now you're doing a form of rebounding, because that also moves lymphatics, right? And you usually do that for about 20, 30 seconds, as long as you want to. And that's a good way to end it, because now when you decrease some of the tightness and the blockages, now you're moving the pumping mechanism, because most humans don't do jumping up and down. Kids do, but adults don't, right? Because they think it looks silly. But that you're also using your calves there, and your calves are the pump that move the venous fluid and lymph fluid down low, up high, right? So you did a lot of things here. First of all, it probably feels pretty good. Yes. 2, you just released tension and tightness in the areas that get the most tension and tightness, and that have a decrease in blood flow to and from tissues. You moved your lymphatics, but you also probably feel like you just rubbed and slapped those joints. Yes. So what you did was, if we tie back into a neurological level, your brain now has what they call the proprioceptive mechanoreceptive input from stimulation around the skin and to the nerves, to the joints. So now your brain has a better sense of awareness of where your joints are, which changes the sensory input to the brain, which changes your sense of uncertainty and safety, because now your brain knows better where the joints are. So it lets you move with more freedom. Do you understand? So that's another neurological reason why it works so well, because most people have such poor sensory awareness around their joints. That's one of the reasons that joints lose mobility, is because they don't have a sense of their own environment. And you do that every single day, once a day. It doesn't matter if you do it in the morning or the afternoon or the evening. It's just whatever is comfortable for you, just the time frame that you're going to do it, and then you're good. That's it. And then we teach way more than that. I mean, that's the basic fundamental everyday one, but we have a self-help video that people can purchase and watch anytime on their own for life, that streams through Vimeo. And then we teach an intensive 2-day course with our lymphatic mojo. Mojo just means magic. A course that we teach webcasting through online, and anybody can attend that. And that's about 13 hours of content. That's way more. You're going to know anything you ever wanted to know about lymphatics when you're done with that.
Yeah, I did your lymphatic mojo course, and I really loved it. But this routine is really, really interesting and awesome. And I will set up something like a challenge for my listeners to try it for maybe 20, 30 days, and then just give some feedback, how it feels, what